So we've just seen the first player since Richard Duma to be banned permanently from the NBA in Jontay Porter. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the situation and how he's not going to be the only person to get banned for this. And he's probably not the only person to have done exactly what he has been banned for. He was just the only person dumb enough to have been caught. So what did Jontay Porter do? He gambled on NBA games, and he basically gave somebody information to bet on his unders. Considering the fact that the bet was like an 80,000 bet to get 1 million, I genuinely don't think that he told an actual gambler. It's not like a case of some people are saying, oh, he might have had to give the information because of a gambling debt. Nah, I genuinely just think he told somebody. Like, that bet that was put on him to hit all his unders was going to be flagged. A ridiculous bet that came through. Like, it was going to be flagged. The second that bet went in and he did it, his career was over. But there's people are getting away with this. But as soon as he told the person to put in that bet or gave the information about his injury, it was done. A bet that gives you that much money, an over 10-1 bet accumulator on like an accumulator, to put that much money on an accumulator and for it to hit on a Jontay Porter, it's gonna happen. It was always gonna happen. But a lot of people are saying, oh, he only gambled on basketball and won 20 grand. He did it all for $20,000. I can't believe you ruined a career for that. Jontay Porter is a degenerate gambler. If you know anything about Jontay Porter, during the crypto boom with everything, the man is a degenerate gambler. The guy's a day trader looking for as many gambling highs as possible. In my opinion, like day trading, and I'm not saying investing, I mean like day trading is gambling. Crypto is gambling. It's just obviously a bit different than sports betting, but you are gambling. The man is a degenerate gambler. And there are a lot more degenerate gamblers in the NBA. I'm just putting it out there. The reason why he lost his entire career, like, one, he was just being idiotic. Giving the information, whoever he gave the information to that put the huge bet is realistically the reason he got caught. Like, whatever idiot decided to do that. Not only that, they're probably going to get themselves caught as well. One of the dumbest things, because he didn't bet on his unders. People are saying he bet on his unders. No, he didn't. He didn't bet on his unders. Like, what he did was, like, someone else bet on the unders and just put way too much money on. So whoever that idiot was is the reason he got caught. He didn't get caught for the other gambling. But you're seeing it in other sports. Like, you've seen it with Ivan Toney. You've seen it with Sandro Tonali. If you've looked like at things in the past, like Michael Chopra was a gambling addict. But you're going to see it more and more. Maybe a little bit less in the NBA because the players aren't sitting around as much. But you're trying to tell me that these NBA players go from hotel to hotel on road trips, sitting in hotel rooms by themselves with nothing to do, with how easy it is to log in on your phone and just go and throw in a few bets and watch the game. You're trying to tell me that NBA players don't do that? You're trying to tell me that it's not something that's being done by hundreds of NBA players? Like, again, Michael Jordan was a gambling addict. So this is going to happen again. Like, anyone saying like, oh, it's just because it was Jontay Porter, like no one really cared, they couldn't do it if it's a star. If it's a star of the level of like a Luka Doncic or a Jokic or a Tatum or an Anthony Edwards, then yeah, maybe it'll try sweep it under the rug. But the difference is that if any player, doesn't matter who the player is, if they get caught doing this, they're done. It doesn't matter how great a player is. We've seen it with Sandro Tonali. Like, Sandro Tonali is an equivalent, I'm trying to think in football, what he'd be an equivalent of in the NBA. He'd probably be the equivalent of like, I'm trying to think of like a Julius Randle. So, Julius Randle is, again, they would try to sweep it under the rug, but if they can't, they're gone. If it comes out that there's so much money being put on like a LeBron and all these big players that's unlikely they get caught, they probably wouldn't go and do it. And if they were going to gamble, they would be smart enough to make sure it can't be traced back to them. But yeah, it's something that's going to happen again. And you're seeing it more and more in the United States because, again, in football, how many people get caught for gambling? And obviously, gambling has been legal in Europe a lot longer than it has been in the United States. So you've seen so many guys get banned. You've also seen so many people at the end of their career come out and talk about their gambling addictions. And with gambling becoming more legalized in America, and with it being pushed more and more by the sports leagues, this is only going to continue. There's going to be somebody else that gets some sort of a ban. I think you're going to see a lot more smaller scale bans because no one's going to be as dumb as Jontay Porter. Like, no one is going to be as dumb as that. But there are a lot of gambling addicts in the NBA. I don't know who. Just based on how normalized gambling is and just how many people do it in other leagues where gambling has been legalized, and with how much the NBA guys spend time by themselves, because again, a lot of these type of things players will get into on their off time when they've got time by themselves, just like researching things. I'm not going to name names because I haven't a freaking clue. If you'd asked me who the first NBA player to be done for gambling was, I wouldn't have guessed Jontay Porter because I didn't even know who Jontay Porter was. But there's more. This is going to happen again, and this is going to happen over and over and over again. And every time someone gets caught, if someone is caught just betting on NBA games, they're not going to get a lifetime ban. If someone is caught doing what Jontay Porter did, effectively match fixing, betting on their unders and the 3-point shot that went in, that he banked and got annoyed, yeah, that was kind of a red flag. The next time something like that happens, they're going to get banned for life. I think you're going to see a lot more smaller scale bans, like a year-long ban for someone for just betting on basketball games, as long as they aren't fixing the events. But, like, match fixing's fraud. So for people saying it's very harsh, Jontay Porter was banned for life, Jontay Porter could very well end up in jail. Like, it's that serious what he did. He could very well end up in jail. Him being banned from the NBA is the least of his concerns right now. If he stays out of jail, he's lucky. I'm being honest. Like, what he did was literally what Tim Donaghy was accused of. What Tim Donaghy did that got him locked up, although he did it over the course of years, and the reason why he didn't get caught was because the people he gave the information to were smart enough as to not get themselves caught straight away. He gave information about teams. He wasn't rigging games. People were thinking Tim Donaghy were rigging games. No, he was considered one of the best refs in the NBA. As far as his correct call percentage is one of the highest in the NBA. He wasn't rigging games, but he was hearing stuff. If he heard that, like, referees, well, let's just say hypothetically, referees were told, you know what, James Harden's kind of jumping in too much. He's getting too many fouls called like that. So for the next couple of games, can you not call them? And he went and told somebody, oh, they're not going to call these fouls, so they would be able to make good reads based on that and just tip the odds in the favor of people making the bets. That's what Donaghy did. And he ended up in jail. What Jontay Porter did, yes, he did it less frequently. Yes, he probably wasn't working with the Mafia. Let's be real. The Mafia weren't going to put in that dumb bet that was guaranteed to be flagged. But he did the same thing. He did the exact same thing. So, he's gone. If he's able to lay low and not end up in jail, he should be happy. But for anyone that is saying that this is a once-off, that they want to make an example of him, probably do want to make an example of him. What he did, they have to kick him out permanently. But it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. And again. And again. And again. And there's going to be players gambling that you don't even know are gambling. There's going to be players point shaving that you don't even know are point shaving. It's been happening for years and it's going to continue to happen. But as far as just betting on NBA games, I would be shocked if there are not, of the 450 NBA players, 50 that are consistently gambling. There are at least 20 to 30 gambling addicts. And again, I'm just throwing numbers out there. I could be very wrong. It could be higher, it could be lower. But that's just my prediction. So, Jontay Porter is not the first. He's not the first gambling addict to be in the NBA. And he's not the last gambling addict. Didn't know he was betting on basketball. The signs of him being a gambling addict have been there for years.